The general conversation for a fullback is usually, yeah, Lucy Bronze is quite good. We all know Lucy Bronze is a very good right back, but people don't normally pinpoint why. Unless you've been living under the Sydney Opera House, then you would have known that Chelsea, over the summer, signed Ellie Carpenter, who is basically Lucy Bronze but 9 years younger. So, for a fullback analysis, I have decided to take a closer look at Ellie Carpenter because she's the other world-class right back in the world not called Jade Riviere. She's had a storming start to the season, had arguably her best game in a Chelsea shirt recently against Barcelona that I can't show you, and she's just really good at football. I think it's quite unfair that Chelsea have Lucy Bronze, already one of the best right backs in the world, and also Lucy Bronze 2.0 aka Ellie Madison Carpenter. So let's take a look at what Ellie Carpenter does so well. What really frustrates me nowadays is people generally decide how good a fullback is by how good they are going forward. Fullbacks are defenders first, and whether they can attack or not is a bonus. And Ellie Carpenter is the best defensive fullback in the world. When the opposition is attacking down your side, the number one thing for Carpenter or any fullback to think about here is staying connected with your centre back, closing off this channel that Miedema is currently in right now. If Carpenter had taken 2 steps this way to anticipate the ball to Murphy, the ball is getting played into Miedema in behind. The other thing for Carpenter to think about is, and this is something I'm going to talk about a lot in this video, is hip direction. Carpenter's hips are facing this way, meaning her hips are already facing towards Murphy, ready to run towards her to close her down instantly. Carpenter is in the perfect position, the option to Miedema is gone, and she waits for the ball to get to Murphy. As the ball goes to the winger, there are 2 important things for a fullback to consider. 1 is starting position. 2 is, again, hip direction. Carpenter's starting position is good, knowing that Lily Murphy is right-footed and likes to cut in onto her favoured foot. So she stands on Murphy's right foot. What this means is Carpenter is standing on the right side of Murphy, preventing her from cutting inside and staying on her right foot. Instead, she's showing Murphy onto her left foot by opening up this space for her to drive into, knowing that A, she's far less comfortable on her weaker foot, and B, knowing she has the pace to get there as well. Look at Carpenter's hips. Her hips don't lie and she's starting to feel it's right, as they are facing perpendicular to where Murphy is facing, so she only has to swing her hips 90 degrees this way to chase her down the line. She wants Murphy to go down the line. She doesn't want Murphy to cut in, because then she'll have to completely swing her hips and body 180 degrees to close her down. However, this is Ellie Carpenter we're talking about. She's so quick, and as we roll this clip on a bit longer, I want you to notice how she's constantly moving her feet, ready for any direction Lily Murphy goes, and she wins the ball cleanly. Carpenter is also really good at deciding when to commit to a challenge, and a good fullback should put a challenge in under 2 circumstances. Either there is a glaring opportunity to win the ball, or when you absolutely have to. The example I just showed was an example of a glaring opportunity to win the ball. As Lily Murphy cuts back in onto her left, she loses control of the ball, and Ellie Carpenter pounces on the loose touch to win the ball, like an ostrich protecting one of her eggs that rolled away. Lily Murphy kept running at Ellie Carpenter throughout the game, and for this one, Carpenter does the same thing. Good starting position, perhaps a little too far away from Murphy, but she's letting Murphy ask all the questions since she's confident in her defensive abilities. And this time, Murphy goes down the line onto her left foot, and Carpenter absolutely had to put a challenge in to block the cross, and does so successfully. Lots of fullbacks will dive into an opportunistic challenge when they have about a 50% chance of winning the ball, but Carpenter will always wait for the 100% chance to dive in, knowing whenever she commits, she will win the ball. If we look at the first goal in this game, the city that won the 2012 NFL Super Bowl has the ball and Jana Fernandez is in a decent starting position. Jana matches the city that won the 1966 World Series title stride for stride, but needlessly dives in to try to poke the ball away, giving the city where the first dental school in the world was founded the extra yard she was looking for to put a cross in. And Ellie Carpenter, by some sheer coincidence is the player this video is on, scores a tap in at the far post. If we look at this clip in full, you can clearly see the moment Jana commits to a challenge is the moment Baltimore knows she has a yard of space to play a cross in. Carpenter is a ferocious defender. She's quick, not afraid to put a challenge in, and she's clearly done her homework on which wingers she'll come up against and knows how to defend them. Lego's biggest spokesperson Lauren Hemp switches over to her favourite left-hand side, and Carpenter is on hand, ready to defend. Before she even gets to her starting position, she calls for Nuskin to double up on Hemp and close off the option for her to cut in. Hemp is a very left-footed player, and 95 times out of, let's say, 95, she will dribble down the line. So that's why Carpenter calls in Nuskin to double up on her inside. In the 0 times out of 95 that Hemp actually cuts inside on her right foot, so she can fully focus on closing her down this way. Carpenter's hips are always facing this way, putting her in a great position to run back down the line, expecting Hemp to run down the left like she always does, and does a great job tracking down every single move, allowing Nuskin to finish her off by kicking her Lego football away. Fridolin Rolfö gets the ball in a united counter-attack, and Carpenter is again positioned very nicely. She stands on Rolfö's left foot, considering she is left-footed, and her hips are at a 45-degree angle to Rolfö rather than the 90 degrees we saw previously. When a fullback is standing on an opponent's strong foot, they're usually closing off the option for them to cut inside, forcing them out wide. They do this by facing their body in the direction they want the opposing forward to go, whilst physically blocking off the direction they don't want them to go. This is called showing your opponent onto their weak foot. However, in this example, Carpenter opens up her body for 2 reasons. One is, Carpenter knows she has the pace to cover if Rolfö does go out wide onto her left foot. 2 is Carpenter knows Natalie Bjorn is on her inside ready to help close down if Rolfö does cut in onto her right foot. So by opening up her body and facing her hips 45 degrees this way, she's put herself in a good spot to cover the inside should Rolfö go there as well. 3 is, they're relatively central on the pitch, so covering every single option Rolfö has is necessary, as opposed to showing her down one side of the pitch if they were out wide. So this is essentially a lose-lose situation for Rolfö, considering how isolated she is without any support from her teammates. Carpenter doesn't make a challenge, buying time for Bjorn to close in, and waits for Rolfö to make a decision on where to go. Rolfö cuts inside onto her right foot, and it was a pretty tame effort on goal, made a bit more threatening with the deflection of Natalie Bjorn. Just to compare and contrast, here's an example of a poor starting position. Freya Godfrey is out wide and has Amanda Nilden for company. Nilden looks like she's in a decent starting position, but she's already decided that she's going to go this way down the line, due to Aslani's running behind. There are 2 things she can do here. One is to stand on her right foot, facing her hips at more of a 45-degree angle to Godfrey, standing more square to her, in order to completely cut off the option of going down the line, and force Godfrey back inside onto her weaker foot. The other thing, which is probably what she should have done, is to just take a step this way and cut off the option for Godfrey to cut inwards and trust that a teammate is going to track Aslani's run. Amanda Nilden ends up doing neither, and Freya Godfrey curls a beautiful shot into the back of the net that I'm sure made Serena Wiegman burst out with heart eyes just by looking at Freya Godfrey from that point on. Good defending doesn't mean winning the ball. Good defending means not letting the opposition go near your goal. Let me say that again because this is very, very important. Good defending doesn't mean winning the ball. Good defending means not letting the opposition go near your goal. And if there's anything you're going to take away from this video, it'll be this. So often do we think if a defender wins the ball, then they're doing their job correctly, thinking they have to win the ball from the winger or block their cross coming into the box. We can see here that Chloe Kelly is on the ball on the left-hand side, and Carpenter is once again in a great starting position, standing on Kelly's right foot, and her hips are pointing 90 degrees away. Carpenter has all of Kelly's options covered if she wants to dribble, and Kelly is forced to go backwards to Taylor Hines. This for me is good defending. Actually, better than good. Marvelous defending. Turning a forward away and forcing them to go backwards because you've shut down all of their options is superb defending. And Carpenter didn't even need to make a challenge. This shows how important defensive positioning is, and if a winger can't see a way past you, then you know you've done an exceptional, satisfactory, and I'm not going to say that word, quality job in defense, because you're not beaten by the opposition winger. Sonia Bompastor this season has flirted with playing a back 5 and a back 4, and Carpenter has played as a right wing back in a back 5, with Lucy Bronze playing as the right centre back. This allows Carpenter complete attacking freedom knowing Lucy bloody Bronze is behind her to cover, and she has really flourished in that role. Her goal against Barcelona was outstanding, galloping forward like an emu on steroids and whacking the ball in the back of the net. and arguably could have had a hat-trick given she was the outlet for Chelsea to get out of their half. Her pace, energy, and tireless work rate is used to full effect by Sonia Bonpastor, as you can regularly see Ellie Carpenter fly down the right-hand side to support the attack. She's a boomerang of a right-back given how often she runs back and forth the right-hand touchline, and she's popped up with a couple of goals and assists this season. Bonpastor's 5-3-2 system, or 3-5-2, same but different, requires the width of the team to be provided by the wingbacks, and whether Carpenter ends up getting the ball or not, you'll always see the long streak of blonde hair in a headband flying down the right-hand side, always providing the team with an option. She also loves a 1-2, regularly looking for a teammate on the inside to play her in behind, because her explosive pace from a standing start is unmatched by anyone else in the WSL, or dare I say, the world, in terms of fullbacks. And in a back five, having your wingbacks create opportunities to attack is really important, which is why Bonpastor selects the home of the world's tallest five-sided building at left wing-back as well. Both players are given freedom to go forwards during the build-up because the three centre-backs and midfielders can take care of the ball in their own half. Chelsea's defence in a back five works like a pendulum. If Carpenter presses up high, then the city where the first umbrella factory was established in the USA will drop back and form a back four, and vice versa. So in a back five, Carpenter has a lot of freedom to attack and defend high, which suits her playing profile really well. But in a back four, Carpenter is slightly more restricted positionally during the build-up, and doesn't have as much freedom to fly forwards to attack. She still attacks, because she has the pace to track back. But notice how all of the goals and assists she has this season so far have come while she's playing as a right wing-back. Bonpastor clearly wants to maximize Carpenter's attacking energy, which is part of the reason why she's gone with the back five with Lucy Bronze at right centre-back. However, whilst I think Carpenter's energy and work rate down the flank is unmatched in the world, her dribbling and crossing ability does let her down sometimes. She's a fantastic carrier of the ball, able to just kick it long and chase it, but if she's left isolated, her ability to beat a defender one-on-one isn't great, but it doesn't need to be good if she can just run past them half the time. Moreover, while she's able to produce crosses like this one every now and again, her overall crossing ability leaves a lot to be desired. Too often will she spurn good attacking opportunities with a poor cross, and this is, I think, her number one priority for improvement. Chelsea often commit a lot of numbers in the box, and with Sam Kerr slowly returning to full fitness, Carpenter has a pretty world-class aerial target to aim for in the box, so I do hope Carpenter improves this side of her game soon. Like I said at the beginning, a fullback that can attack well is a bonus. Players like Olga Komona, Ona Batye, Salma Basha are all well known for their attacking prowess, and rightly so. And whilst I do think Carpenter is a league under those players when it comes to attacking ability, she's still excellent in her own way, and has added a new dimension to Chelsea's attack since her arrival. Australia's fastest kangaroo is no doubt one of the best right-backs in the world, and I wanted to focus on her defensive game since everything you hear about her are her goals and assists. Whilst her attacking contributions shouldn't be overlooked and are definitely worth talking about, no one ever talks about her defensive ability, and that is by far her strongest part of her game. Good luck finding a clip this season of someone dribbling past Ellie Carpenter. You know what? I challenge you. I challenge you to find a clip of anyone beating Ellie Carpenter one-on-one this season. Because I looked, and I didn't find one. What I also found out whilst researching her is that she's still only 25. It seems like she's been around for about a decade. Because she has been. When I was 15, I was watching How I Met Your Mother, picking up tips from Barney thinking that's how I'm going to get my crush to like me. When Ellie Carpenter was 15, she made her professional debut for Western Sydney Wanderers, which was also the age she made her senior debut for the Australia national team. It's no doubt she's an absolute talent, a talent that's only going to get better, and a player that can and will dominate games from right back.